Checking. Okay, we got volume. That's good. Good morning, everybody who's here. I just got back from Mexico last night. That was a interesting trip. I met with different traders. One from particularly interesting from Germany, who does options and futures only, and has done quite well. One of the things that was unexpected is at the government buildings, I got caught up in a rally that I didn't know I was going to get caught up in. It was just like, it got pretty sketch. I was being pulled away, and because it seemed to be going kind of anti-gringo, I guess I'll use the word, which I did not think it was, and what the whole I mean, we're talking like people with megaphones and thousands of people. I mean, it grew very, very quickly from just walking around looking at these historical buildings to like, what the heck's going on here? People, chanting and then, repeating what the other person. I'm trying to give you a feel of what it was like. And this really angry megaphone with people reciting back what they were saying. And I didn't know because I used to speak Spanish fluently, and I can't, well, maybe not fluently, but I don't speak it very well now. I could catch a few words, but where I grew up originally, in the Bahamas and the Miami area, I spoke it well enough to have most of my friends speaking Spanish. But anyway, that all fell behind, and I lost a lot of that. So I didn't really know exactly what was being said. But apparently, what had happened is that because of gentrification in a certain area, the government had gone in and taken all these animal shelters and taken like 1,000 pets. You can look it up on ChatGPT. And they were demanding where were their pets. They wanted the land back. So it ended up kind of becoming not just anti-American, but the fact that all this people from outside Mexico were buying up property, and there wasn't enough for the indigenous people, and you know what I mean, if you followed any of that. So it was that type of situation, and I was just walking right into it, and I stand out because I'm 6'4", and you can just see me that I'm definitely not of a Mexican heritage. Not definitely, but most likely not. So, and then the people that were with me started getting worried for me, like, hey, wait a minute, maybe you shouldn't walk in the middle of that. Because I found it interesting. I was, hey, what's this? People are chanting. Just a little, at this age, that was a little ignorant, I guess. But I did, never in a million years would I thought it would end up being, something to do with me, So that was an interesting end to that rather productive visit, that wanting to learn a bunch of stuff with different traders where I met, and getting involved in other things, nonprofits and stuff. So, but I'm back now, and don't feel entirely on my game. Well, there's not much of a time change from where I am to Mexico, but it just tired. When you travel, you just get tired. So we'll look to see what is going to happen today. I was looking at a few of the stocks. I'm excited about maybe hitting MU again at the open, since we did well with that just before I left. Even though I don't, like you guys know, I never recommend that you trade the open. So I marked it out a bit with the multiple fib levels. Did I do multiple? I don't see the other fib. No, I guess I didn't. I just did the 10-day fib. Yeah, let me mark that 2-day fib. I don't know why I didn't do that. Well, I marked it like that with the recent low and recent high, but probably getting this on the even dollar somewhere here, like 93 maybe. Close enough. Get it up here for 21 perhaps. We'll make it the even dollar or close to it. Rather end up lower than higher from it. just for some guidelines, as you know, based on the original book, Day Trading Volume 1. It still seems to come into practice and regularly work, so I use them. So yeah, because it is, that fib does look like it may have been closely respected at the even dollar amount there. But yeah, I would probably look for this like any kind of a, if it gives me any kind of a dip down in here, I would instantly go long, probably off that fib. It seems a lot of consolidation, assuming I'd have some pain, a couple bucks worth of pain. But if it got much below that level, I'd probably get out before I add to it. But I don't know. I'll see how I feel when I watch it. But if it doesn't go down like that, then I have a problem trying to play that. You know, if it just starts going straight up, I'm not sure that's what's going to happen. On the buy, I was looking at the bias for that. Neutral. Basically watch the macro data, which of course is what I always do. So that doesn't make a lot of sense, Charlie, but so that might be something I look right at the open just to see what happens. Now, Amazon's supposed to have some big moves today. As far as the volatility of Amazon based on a catalyst. So I did go ahead and mark that out on just the fib so far. Let's get that time axis a little bit better there. So we'll see what happens on Amazon. So it's saying that Amazon, it's neutral as far as how to predict it. But there's a lot of news about it, so we'll see what happens here. It might be better for, you know, our consolidating type trading. It's a little cheaper than some of the ones we trade, so you could afford higher share size most likely on that one. And then I'm interested in Tesla too because it's much lower than it has been. But I'm always interested in Tesla just because of its volatility. And it's pretty much retracement. I was looking at that though and thinking like, God, you could have really got that the wrong way this day. Right here, if you ended up just thinking, oh, I'll add to it, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. Well, eventually it did. You'd have to hold it into a swing, so it would have worked. But that would have been, I always look at it like, what if you didn't have it short? You know, if you had it long instead, and you just, like you played that dip and then, you know, went long, and then this happened. Would you add to it? Would you know, how many times? And then down here, it could have been a lot of money before it turned around. So that would have shaken most traders out for a big loss, that move. If you got it the wrong way. If you got it the right way, that would have been great. Then if you just said, I know it's going to come back, which is dangerous to say, especially with Tesla, then you would have made all your money right back the opening of the next day. And then it did it again, you know. So there's been two big drops. It makes me think it's near its low, but I am a little terrified of that happening again. It came back up, so it's kind of due for, in its most current cycle, for another drop there. But, you know, that's really, it's basically saying neutral. The EV demand is still intact, so there's no reason why that should be dropping, you know. Again, you never know with these things. So I listen to some of the other people talk like with such certainty. I mean, I guess that sells YouTube videos, right, or whatever. You just, yeah, this is my guy, you know. But there's no way you can really know, guys. I mean, so you just got to be ready to move quickly. So yeah, Tesla today, MU today, AMD. I'm still holding that swing, and it's irritating me that it dropped again because it seemed like it was on a rebound and then it dropped. You know, I mean, we were right. I could have got out in this area here for some money, but I was waiting for it to be 238. So this drop again, I still believe this whole fear that there won't be demand for the chips is just redonkulous that I really wish I would have added to it here, but I was not trading when I was in Mexico. It's just, there's just no way. So this is just a short term. This is going to take off, you know. And then if unemployment keeps, you know, if unemployment figures go up, then the interest rates are going to be cut down. You might see them as low as 2%, 2 or 3 anyway, and things are going to take off. So, you know, there's so many reasons why this is a good place to buy. I wish I could buy right now, but I think my logic is with this, is I'm mealy mouthing around here. My logic is I do want to add to my position on my other account, but I'd like to see if it's going to get back down here where it was, like all the way down to 87. So anywhere near the low 190s, I will double down in this area because I know I'll spring back up. I know. Just after I said no one knows, But as far as today on one of my other accounts, like this account we're on right now, this is a 44,000, I think. It's going up because we're making money on it. So I keep drawing it back down when it goes up because I want to keep it around the same. We could trade 100 shares of this stock. So we got 6 minutes to open. So I guess what I'll do, guys, is I'll go back to MU. I'll read the buys on everything once we get the... What I think I'm going to do on these videos is I'm going to do a recap for the whole week rather than put out the videos. So if you don't catch the stream, then you won't catch the recap till like Saturday or Sunday. Of course, you can go look at the stream at any time on my channel if you miss it, obviously. But they're not getting many views because it's mostly you guys driving it and you traded it with me, so, or for whatever reason, it's not getting many views. So it would make more sense to do all of the days at once and maybe talk about a little bit why I took the trades. It's just so time intensive for me to do that I don't normally do it that way. But I will start the stream right now with the recording right now with a little bit of entry. And then we'll come back to like you were all here at the same time. So let's wish us all good luck today. Here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the Professor with Day Trading for Success. We're about to trade live, and we're looking at large and mega caps, basically following the strike and recoil strategy. Actually, let me switch over to the stock I'm going to be trading, maybe trading at the open, and I don't recommend that you do that at any time. You're looking at a Thinkorswim layout, which is what I use, and I sometimes trade at the open. I just was analyzing this with everybody on the stream. MU that may be a possibility to trade at the open, and I'm looking for it to dip down into this area and then maybe go long. Dangerous, very dangerous to trade at the open, so I don't recommend doing that. Remember, guys, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. You should seek the advice of someone licensed before you try to emulate or follow any of my trades. You should always trade in a simulator first and make sure you understand and it's working for you and you're getting green on a regular basis. I'll restart that ticker thing. So we're going to be trading on a 1-minute chart here, but we're going to be looking at data. We were just going over the buys for the stocks today. I think Nvidia is bearish, Tesla is neutral, Palantir is neutral, AMD neutral, MU is neutral, Broadcom neutral, TSM neutral, Amazon neutral, but could have a lot of volatility today. Netflix neutral, also could have some volatility today. I didn't even get into marking that yet. Google, that's based on their merging with Paramount. BABA neutral, SPY neutral, QQQ neutral, IWM neutral, Apple neutral, Intel neutral, MSTR bullish but risky, CrowdStrike neutral, Oracle neutral. Going a little deep here, Charlie. Charlie, she's my assistant, and they put this together with the team. Normally, these all came up on the scanners that I trade with. Coinbase bearish, Robinhood is bearish, and there's a bunch more information about upcoming news this week that I'm not going to really get into that. And we have about 2.5 minutes before I may take a trade. But normally we wait for about 15 minutes after open, and we're looking for that consolidating strategy where the strike and recoil works where, well, if the price abruptly moves one way or the other, down or up, we call that the strike, and you get in the opposite direction for the recoil, and then you get out very quickly. We're going to be doing low share size. Hopefully you have met the PDT rule. You have $100,000 in your account. I will try to make every trade here well within that margin that you can do. So if you were to try to emulate it, which, like I said, remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, anybody can trade this share size, but you should be able to, figure out what you want to do. Maximum loss per trade is so important. Maximum loss per day, very, very important. And have a day trading plan. Make sure things are working for you before you trade with real money. So I think I'm only going to go in with 25 shares if I go in. And what's our price on that? So, yeah, 400. So the maximum we could do on this particular stock on this $43,000 account without going into margin is roughly 100 shares. So I will enter a quarter of my position if I enter at all. And most likely on the opening candle or 2 candles or 3 candles, I would do buy the ask or sell the bid, or buy the bid or sell the ask, and not do market, because there's going to be such a swing on this $1.40 spread right here. So this is going to give me the range of what to go for, but this is set on pre-market right here. This is a great indicator, as well as the one right down here. So everything's about to go crazy. So I'm indicator driven, and you'll see a lot of these, and I'll probably cover them as we go along. Okay, guys, good luck today. We have about 30 seconds. One more sip of coffee to see if I do this. Remember, I don't recommend what I'm about to do if I do it, unless you can really afford it and you're okay losing. You're okay losing. Like Mark Douglas, be okay losing 20 trades in a row. Get into your own zone. Start to get confidence in yourself, knowing that, overall it's going to be okay. But that takes time and practice. This is another one, good one. It just said it went up. So there's our opening. So I'm looking close. So all the whole and half dollar levels just went in for me. That is a indicator that does that. So really looking here for 397 range, somewhere in the 397s. You might see me buy a bid at the 397. Better to look at what your prices are here. I'm looking at the bid right now because I want to go long, but I need a pretty good dip to do it. So you can see from this candle, it's not giving me any opportunities really. Might be a really good thing. 99.11 was the low. Now 398.90 is the low. It's tapping down there at that fib level. There we go. We're getting closer to where I might be interested. Now that's the ATR. All right, I'm going to try to get in there. 71. You see, it didn't pick me up twice. Already a dollar trade I could have had there. Okay, so now I'm in, and now I can get in some pain quickly. So let's see what happens here. So it hit that fib. It went all the way down there. Wow, huh? I'll try to get out right at the even dollar there. See if it picks me up. It's letting it swale a bit. Just for my first trade, 32 bucks. And I'll look to see if it's going to dip again. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go in there. No, I'm going to cancel that order. That is not what I wanted. That was way higher than where I wanted it. Man, that was bad news, sir. I'm just going to try to get out. Yeah, I just try to get out because I don't. And then, of course, it goes straight up. I just didn't like where I was, but I guess I was wrong to think that. Look at that. I would have made another 50 bucks in a split second. So that ATR popped up, and that's more the level I should be going in, and I saw it, but then it sprang. I thought I was getting it down here, like in the 70-something range. But so that may be the dip. Let's see. This is a very dangerous stock to trade. You want to have really low share size if you even attempt it. Now we're only going for 100 bucks, and really we're going for that with the strategy that I'll be trading once the market's been in 15 minutes to a half hour, and then we're looking for a range, high. We find a range, a high and low for that strike and recoil. Hang on, stop talking. I'm gonna go for it. It could be just really about to go down, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. If I get 38. So let's see if we get a bounce. So that's my strike. I want to recoil. I don't want to get greedy because it does look like it's starting to pound down here. Here we go. Show us what you got. Tried to get out up in the $30 range. $3.99.11. There it goes. Should swale up now. There we go. So 82 bucks. Again, very dangerous trades depending on your. I don't find them to be that dangerous, but I'm talking to you guys. I mean, you need to have like 5 shares if these numbers seem high for you. You know, you can just have 5 shares and maybe have some fun if you make sure you get out. I know that's a weird way to say it, but I really, really enjoy trading. So that was fun for me, even at the low numbers. You know, it was exciting to watch it go. I'll never get tired of that, I don't think. I hope I never do. So now it's getting enough data in here where I might want to look at this Scalp Pro down here. This is showing what's inside each candlestick here. Now, there are people that email me if I could just make $25 a day. You know, I mean, if you make $100 a day, you're making $2,000 a month. 150, $3,000. 200, $4,000 a month. So it doesn't take a lot to change your life if you're careful. So this would be a good start for somebody very close to $2,000 a month, but there's some risk there. Obviously, that could be 82 down. If you didn't get out, it could be, you know, well, it couldn't be hundreds down, but if you just didn't get out when you're supposed to, it gets worse and worse and worse. So you got to be careful. So now I would want to look for that whole opportunity in the beginning to me is over, where I think it's going to be long buys today. But now I want some consolidation. So I'd like to see it set its parameters. I mean, that's very exciting. I could have made a lot of money right there, right? But I didn't know that was going to happen, and there's no way to tell. So I always felt much more comfortable going off the dip off these levels, riding it up. I mean, maybe short off the fib, but again, I'm long biased on this, so I'm just talking as I'm thinking. See how my brain works? So we're not going to do this. We're going to wait for it to set some parameters here if we trade it again at all today. It's a very volatile stock, and I know this looks really busy, mostly because every one of these are the half and whole dollar levels. So, so let's start to think about the other stocks. So now up on my scanners, now this is my consolidation scanner, and this is a really good one. I coded this in so that it makes sure that the volume is high enough per 1 minute candle to offer us some opportunities. And obviously with MU it's going to be. But what I do is now, since it's open, you can quickly look over at the mark, which is the current price, and see, is it going long or is it going short? So right now, the market was kind of neutral, but everything's going long. Now, I expect Amazon to go long today, but be very volatile. So that's one we're going to want to look at. So if we can identify a bias, long or short, then we look for the consolidation within that bias. Here's another one I go to a lot, just because you can kind of trust it to stay within its certain parameters of a range. Finding the range is so important. But anyway, this is the consolidation. So it brought up quite a few. And then we have this one here, which is number 2, that professor's number 2, which is, this is the price can be anywhere from $25 to $400. It's ATR 3 or more. Volume has to be 10K or more in a 1 minute candle, moving at least 15 cents within 1 minute. So that's showing those kinds of, and it shows the spread here too. So that kind of coding enable us to find that consolidation, quick volatility, and consolidation at the same time. That's basically what you're looking for. You're looking for a range that's consolidating, and then you want it to be volatile enough within that range to give you opportunities, right? Now, when you listen to everybody else that trades, you say you're trying to avoid any consolidation because you can't call it. It's absolutely not true. You can call it, particularly with the large cap and mega cap stocks. And that's what I focus on because it's so much safer if you're in consolidation, right? If you're going in between, that's the ceiling, that's the floor, right? That's so much safer because you can't be sure, but for the most part, you know your range. So if you get it wrong, it's like it almost always retraces. Now, if it breaks that range, then you know it's, and there's all kinds of indicators to help you with that we'll talk about. If it breaks that range, then we're getting into a trend where then all bets are off as far as that type of consolidation thinking. I mean, this strategy designed by the $1 Million Margin Club way back when, so that you could find a stock to trade at any given time safely. Look at MU. I wasn't even watching it. God, I was looking at the scanner. Like had I just held that. Had I, would I, should I, could I. You just don't know. Let's take a look at Amazon. Well, let me finish the scanners. And then this is another one. Number 3, this is 50K volume per 1 minute candle, price between $25 and $200, market cap $2 billion or more, ATR 1.5 above, 50K volume in 1 minute. So this is going to give you a bit more volatile with a bit wider range of stocks because of the cheaper market cap here, lower market cap. So this one, you can see this is going up a little bit. Nvidia's now back down. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the close and open. Here we go. No, Nvidia's up. This was interesting. MSTR even. But see, in order for it to be up here, because we're based on volume. Am I based on volume? Hang on. No, I was not. That's why that looked totally different. Okay. Yeah, so you can just adjust these right here. Oh, no. What did I do? No, that's not what I want to do. I have... See, a little trickery there. Pull that off the screen. Get that back up there. Make sure everything's lined up still. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at IRA in there too. That's a little bit up. Hood is $2 up. Let's take a look at Hood. Oh, that's some previous levels we want to get rid of here. Hood sometimes is a really good go-to stock. So it started down here. It's way up here, which is interesting because will it reject off of its previous high over here? Let's do a smoothing, sort of in this level, right? Was most of where it stopped. So 77, between 76, 75, and 77. It seemed like it didn't even make it there, as you can see. Not seem like it didn't make it there. So we're 10 minutes in now, and I'll start to look for some consolidation. What I was really trying to point out is that on the scanners is you look for the difference between open and where it is now to help you pick a short-term bias, just a short-term bias, right? And then you look to see, is it consolidating within that range? So can you trade it? Like on Hood, with this particular strategy, can you trade it? Come on, that's not what I did, right? Sometimes I have trouble just grabbing this stuff because it's so, there's so many lines in here. But once you zoom in, then it's much easier to trade. So let's look at the 5 minute of this, and then let's see our range. This could be one that we should try this morning because it kind of made a top here. It made a tweezer move right here on the 5 minute. And that's it. Is that it? I call it. We'll have the 50 cent. I'll mark it there. And that little flat top there on the 1 minute. And then this is, so let's see if it ranges back up. And if we get some consolidation here, we might be able to get some accurate ceiling and floors here. We can do more shares of this one. Much cheaper stock. So Hood, with the count my size, you could go 250 shares without margining. Now let's take a look at the range here. So if you just go here and look at a number, so let's say 75.05. So that just went up 9 cents in a split second. So look within a minute to see what it's doing. So it's going back and forth, and then it went down, so more than 15 cents. So there's your range. It does have the up and down range to trade it, the volatility to trade it is what I'm trying to say. You can see the buy sell oscillator says you're at your bottom, so go back up. But let's see if it obeys. There's the 50-cent mark. We need it to start being predictable, somewhat predictable, and that means it's, the indicators say, hey, the historical data says we're going to do this again, and we're going to do this again, and we're going to do this again. That's what historical data is. It repeats it. So you're looking for a pattern that repeats, and then you just jump into that pattern and always be careful. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. And for those of you that are struggling, I'm sorry that you're screaming and saying it's not that simple, because it can be hard to see that, and then obviously having your max loss. You can see our share size is a bit higher over here, which is good. So we're gonna get filled. So it is breaking this, but remember, we're not at our low yet. The buy sell oscillator did not call that correctly, which is it's right about 60-70% of the time. It's the MACD. That one is right more like 80% of the time, in my opinion. It says so on the indicators, but that arrow said go down, and it went down, and it calls it. So this is buy sell. This buy sell oscillator's relative strength index readings. The MACD is EMA crossovers, if you know a little bit about trading. So the relative strength index is more of a, I don't find it as accurate, and I find that you should take a pause. Look at the MACD was right again there too. So if you don't have the MACD indicator, there's links to it here, the ones that tell you exactly which way it goes. So if you look at our Scalp Pro, you can kind of see that it is selling, but see how the volume's decreasing with the sellers. So there's less appetite to go down. So there's trying to be a recovery here as we get closer to where it opened. So our open on Hood was at 74.34. So we're very close to it. This is a really safe one because we're barely moving, not like MU where we're moving dollars at a time. All right, so let's see if we're making a flat bottom here at the 74.50. See if this holds it, and then we can start thinking about it. So the buyers recovered a bit. Right there. Nope, broke it. Now in this one, yeah, I guess I would still do ask bid here, as long as it picks me up. This low share size, it should. That's a pretty big spread, so I don't think I'd go market, for those of you that know what I'm talking about. We have our 15-minute chart down here. Did not mark the fibs on this. I think maybe it's time to do that. Let's see what that does for us here. Yeah, we're right in between. We'll make a nice channel on those fibs. So you can see I marked them way back there, and look at this. That's why marking the fibs is so important, because you can see your ceilings and floors. And why would that work? Because other people do the same thing, and then they call their trades out based on it. So it's basically the crowd, making a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's all. That's all there is to it. There's no mystical, like, well, it knows what it's going to do based on, that old nature's mathematical formula thing. Now I'm doing a 2-day fib to see if we can narrow in the channels a little bit here. And we'll look at the 1 minute to see. So this is giving us more levels. So that 74.50 is continually being tapped. And if it breaks up from there, then we have a real long bias situation. So we may have our ceiling and floors. Again, I might not stay here. I'm not liking that it's, it's not giving us a definitive plan. I mean, if you look at the 5 minute, it's just straight down. So you can get caught up in the micro data here. Do we have any? Now I have my news here. Let me just see if Hood is got any news that I need to worry about here. just based on crypto. You know, a lot of the crypto stuff is moving. That's why the other one we were looking at earlier. Wow. Okay, so now I no longer am interested in this. Okay, so we're moving away. We waited because we needed it to verify the channels, and it didn't do it. So let's take a look at Amazon here. Yeah, so it ended up going. I was long biased on this because of the merger deal. No, this isn't the merger. That's Netflix. This one had news on. What was our Amazon news? So I'm getting confused with. I want to look at Netflix. And I don't see where it is on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's pretty high up on this. This is high up on the scanners. So, wow, that's going down too. What's the SPY doing today? SPY is flat. QQQ is flat. Everything's flat. So there's no clear indication yet of overall market movement of at least the ones I would be trading. When the merger news throws off anything I would do with fibs and everything, I just got enough volume here, as you can see. Yeah, it has to be. It has to do more than that. Let's take a look at this up close. Cheap enough stock, I'll tell you that. For what we normally do. Yeah, there's no good pattern to trade here. Although it may be flat bottoming here at the ATR low, which is good. This is good, actually. This looks good. How are we doing for action here? Not much. You're getting 5 to 10 cents, not 10 to 15 cents like I'd like to see here. So this would be a very slow move. If we want to do it, we want to raise our share size a little bit. If I would want to do this. Look at how the ATR is holding this. So that's a good sign that we might have a floor here. 76 could be the ceiling. 75.50 could be the floor. 56, 75, 56 is the low. Yeah, this is barely moving as far as how to make any money on this, though. I'm looking. There you go. Broke it. Wow. Again, then I would not be interested in this. I'm generally long biased, guys. I just overall market is just going to go back up like it always does. What can we find today? Let's try Apple. So Apple is up $1. Let's look at the overall picture of Apple. Okay, so these are really older levels that I marked. Let's clear those up. You can see how far it's dropped. So, yeah, I feel like for Apple, this is really low from what it has been recently. Up here. Let's take a look at this. Oh, so that's right where we're trading. Or is it? So that's a day level and an ATR high. So this makes this interesting. Apple is it's not given a bias, which bothers me. Is it neutral? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, okay, so definitely moving enough in money. Definitely moving enough in, well, is it moving enough in volume? Not right now. What's our 5 minutes say? Yeah, so average definitely. This could be our bottom area, guys. So what is our difference there? So down here you have 58.50. So yeah, so it's only about $1. Let me move my share size higher here. On Apple, I can go, oh, only 150. All right, so we'll keep it at 50 so I can average in. So I'm going to go on 1/3 of my position if I take a trade here. So I'm looking for a dip. Let me make sure I'm not missing something on the bigger data. So it's already gone up quite a bit. Here's our open area there. Oh, wow, so it's gone up quite a bit since the open. Huh? All right, so I got to be careful here. Yeah, so this is kind of the ceiling, this area. I was going to try to play this like the floor, but I'm just going to look a little closer here to make sure. See, I mean, I'm just going to wait a minute. So here's our VWAP, and then you can see the market magnets coming and calling for the action to go back up. We're right in the middle of its 50% range. So data says go up. The only thing that says maybe it would go lower is the longer term from where it came from. But I would play this long bias. It was all the way up to 280 just a few days ago. Yeah. I mean, it could just break way out here above this ATR. So that's the trend then, you know, if we're up above the ATR. I'm going to do a smoothing level here because it seems to be just consolidating right here. So smoothing level would be, yeah, no, that would be too low. So probably right in here, 67. Just taking a general area of where it's turning around and just giving me something to look for. Not, you can't really count on it. It's just, if you guys watch me trade, you know, that's the way I trade, and it comes into play a lot where those levels, if it's just consistently going to turn around within 10 or 15 cents of that level. All right, I'm going to get ready to go into this off that dip at 67. If it gets down that low, we'll try it. What's our spread? I'm just going to go into it because the spread's so low. I'm going to go ahead and take that. What did I get? It got it exactly at 67. So now let's see if it's going to fade off or if it's going to go back like how it had been doing. I feel pretty comfortable with this. Buy sell oscillator just said go. You have the bottom of the market magnet turning it around as well. So I'm pretty comfortable this will be a 2-digit trade upward. I'm just going to have to wait it out. That's my sentiment on it right now. It's also the 50 cent, the $0.50 mark. Let me get a better look at the Scalp Pro here. I really should have looked closer before I took the trade. There's our trade happening the way it's supposed to. Yeah, sellers didn't make it to the top as the volume increased, which is a good sign. So I'm going to try to just get out up here if it breaks the 2-digit mark. Meaning like above $10. Just a small trade. Nope. Had an opportunity for about $8 or $9 there. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Is it going to break that VWAP? So now we're getting a painful trade there. It's coming back up. It's a long time to do a recoil. You know, the fact that it's taken this long is not particularly good news for this type of strategy. We wanted a fast recoil. So by the time that filled, did you see that? God, that took so long to fill. And then it's going to go up. So it panicked me a little here. I should have held a little longer, and I would have got my 2 digits there. But now I'm thinking short off of this level, which is 59 even, would be an interesting spot to go short, and maybe think 59.23 to average in or get out, depending on how the price action is looking. So I look at the market maker if I'm going to keep doing market kind of messed me up on that trade. Remember, we don't pay trading fees, so it's just a slow climb. You're the turtle, not the hare. We're just trying to get $100 today, nice and low share size. That's all we're doing. Get green consistently, and then you become a successful trader. It's just that simple. If you try to be the hare and make all this money at once, then you can blow your account so fast. Just show up, enjoy yourself, knowing that, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to have $50, $100, $150, $200. Wow, that jumped 20 cents there. Who knows where market would have put me? It was 50 cents here on the bid a minute ago, and then went all the way up to. Now I'm switching back to long bias as it dips. Remember, I thought last time I got it at 67. Looking for something a little better. Because it went all the way down to 14, if that actually happened, or if that's not a shadow wick. Waiting it out. This is pretty boring, this stock, so we may want to switch off of this in a minute. I'm going to take that. All right, so again, that is a recoil. So I went opposite. I'm looking for the recoil. I went opposite the way it was going to look for it to recoil back up. So it seems counterintuitive when you do that, but you know, these big stocks just constantly recoil. So that was terrible. $2. I should have done the bid. It looked like it was going to fade. That's why I got out. I was like, just get out. But it looked like I could get at least $5 from that, but it didn't happen. This is just ridiculously low to do this. So I could raise the share size, but I can really only go 150 if I want to hold it into a margin. Everything is showing red now. Everything's going down. Wow, Tesla dropped big time. They went down $9. AMD's down to 196. So yeah, the overall market's going down. SPY is down $4. QQQ is down for. So something happened here. Some news has just happened. So I'm looking across the scanners. Everything's red except PayPal. What's going on with PayPal? This is the only one that's showing green on my scanners. Oh, it's barely green. It was way up. Now it's going down. Let's see if this has got any kind of movable action. That has not moved. 1 penny. Yeah, okay. We can't trade that. All right. Oh, guys, I wish I could find something that was really moving here our way. It's pretty slow. And they're all kind of trending rather than... this is always my fail-safe. I'll just take a look at it. I marked it out earlier. I don't like that. Yeah, see, this is scary to trade. Wow. It's always scary to trade, but the fact that it's trending down, I would hesitate to go long. You know, remember I talked earlier, if you were here earlier, how it had been doing these big drops. Drop. This one came back, but it looks like it's doing the same thing again. Let's take a look at the day on this one. Yeah, I mean, this is the lowest over here it's been in a while, which is like, what is that, 370? Well, that's pretty far off that position. That's a long time ago, though. It's May. We're in May here. So this is the day chart. But this isn't too long ago. 387. And it stopped over there before, too, right in this general area. 391.3. So this could get down to this level where a lot of people are waiting, where there's liquidity pools So, you know, people ask me about the heat map showing that. Does, I mean, the heat map, I used to use the heat map. It shows some, but it's common sense where you see where there's going to be liquidity pools. It's pretty common sense, you know, where you see the action stopping and turning around. Right around there, you're going to have either a huge lack of liquidity to go any further, or some people would call it, a liquidity pool to go deeper, you know. So, meaning there's lots of shares being traded in that area. I'm just moving around because I was just thinking as I was looking at that, do I really want to try to get into this at this stage where it's maybe not anywhere near done going down. And we're up into 33 minutes into the trade already. Wow, that went fast. Sorry, I wish I had better stuff to trade. Okay, let's see. Tesla's going back up, as we can see. Apple's still about $1 up. AMD says hard to borrow. That's a mistake. Hood is down. I know. No, I did not want to go to Google. Palantir is up $2. Perhaps this is our baby. Let's get a look here. That's an interesting 5-minute. So didn't make a bull flag. Possible it didn't. It's already broken the bear flag. So there's no. But you have a tweezer up here. Let's see. It's when they're so abrupt like that, and they beat the length of the previous candle. We call that a tweezer move. So that tells you a lot about that pattern, about which way it may go. May go. You may be a winner. Hopefully some of you guys are just slow and steady moving along. I'm trying to be more sensational for the viewers. With low share size here, it's hard to do. So this is pretty interesting here. If it tops out here. Making a flat top here around 30.50. Let me just make sure we got everything else working here. Yes, okay. 50 shares would be a good way to start. This one could go 200 max. That'd be 1/4 of my position if I got it wrong. And that could go all the way up to $2 up quite easily where it just was. Looks like it's rejecting here though. So let's look to go long again. Down here, like 129 even maybe. And then it goes all the way down to 128.50 area. Here's our market magnet right here. That's the 9, the 20, and the VWAP. Everything's happening right here. So this looks interesting enough to trade right now, but I need it to give me something that's more a surefire trade, good trade. So far I'm batting 100%, but just not much money here. I think we're just below $100. Neutral to long, according to all the data and all the people that put prices on where this stock should be, all the ratings. Stop dead at that VWAP. Look at that. The more verification on these indicators, the more safe I feel about calling it. You know, we need the indicators to verify. So volume just went up as it was going down. So that calls for it to break that VWAP, which is the 50-cent mark. See if it does it. Give it a minute. Break below the 50 cent here. Right now, the buyers were taking over. Yep, now it's going to, looks like it's going to do what it's supposed to do according to the indicators and go down. Hitting against the range of the market magnet. Nope. At least not yet anyway. It's almost better if it doesn't really, because then we'll get a tighter range right here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this micro data there. So that's 130.30. Yeah, it's just taking longer to do what it said it was going to do. Very, very slow here. Yeah. There's a reversal sign. That's a rickshaw man. Meaning that move. Yeah. Okay, so do I dare go short with this stock that's long biased? Here we are in big picture. I think I will. 4-cent spread. I think I'll make sure I get in. 6-cent spread. 7-cent. Well, no, there was a 9-cent spread. So I smoothed out that level up there, sort of made a flat top to potentially go short off that level, just to remind me that that's right there. So volume went up as it was going up, so it should go up. Buy sell oscillator, which is the relative strength index, is saying no, you're going to. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and try that. 23. All right, so I'm now in on a short, hoping it won't break that flat top there. I'm looking for a recoil, quick one. Not a lot. It's only 50 shares. Yeah. I'll just try to make a small amount of money there if I can. There it goes. So just 650. $96. Boy, it was. We've almost made our goal. So again, this might be giving us the action. I could raise the share size here. It would be a little more exciting. I'm still half asleep, I got to tell you. But this is the tortoise way of trading, right? We're just slowly making our money. Not exactly a really volatile, there's not a lot of stuff moving here. Nvidia's down $2. Amazon's even money. Tesla's now still hovering around. It's $10 down, but it's sort of, well, that actually is a good sign. We should take another look at that. Palantir here is still roughly, over $1 up. All right, let's see again if we can get a short, but this is making a flat top that it might break out of. So I tend to want to go long down here more than go short, quite frankly. See if we can get it below the 130 and go long instead of short. Let me raise this so it's somewhat, that'll be half of my total position if I get in. Let's see if it can break down here quite a bit, and we'll try to catch a recoil closer to the 2960 something area. And we can hold that longer based on this pattern to go up and break the 130.30 area, break out that flat top. I might be waiting to go too low on this dip, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get in right there. So 84, and then of course it went down the second I got in. Holding on the 20 we're looking. Then the VWAP we're looking. Of course my share size is up now, so if I get it wrong it could hurt me. Now we're at the VWAP. So 50 cent, we really want to turn it around at the 50 cent mark here. MACD says down. I don't like to see that on the crossover. Got to wait this out a little bit. I don't want to see it down here below the 50 cent. Oh my God. Let me do the other smoothing level here. I still feel confident this is going to go the other way, so I'm holding it. You sit there around with $5, then you get impatient. Here we go. Just get back up where you belong. That says you should be going up. You saw the volume increase. Everybody jump on. It takes people a second. There we go. That's enough if it gets me there. That's enough. Come on. You're right there. Thank you. So that brought us over our goal, 109. It got a little dicey. I really want to look at, of course, if I'd hold it, I'd be way over. Always the thing. I really want to look to see if this is consolidating the way it appears to be. So we're almost out of the $1.50 range, which is a $10 range from the way that indicator's set. Stopping dead right at the 402 level and up to 404.50. A little bit below that, it made kind of a flat top right there once anyway. If you were to smooth this level out, you'd be really at the 402, which is kind of already telling you that. But right there. So there's our range, which is just about $2. At least it looks like it's starting to make a range there, but let's see. It's not a big enough range for Tesla. Wow. That's scary to even think about going long, huh? That's not, you need more data here before you start trading. Now, the way I trade Teslas, I almost don't care about that stuff. I go long and short, high share size, in and out, make lots of money very quickly. I don't, it's risky. It's a scalping skill that I have learned over many, many years. So I know I can trade this, but directing you guys to trade this is a little scary. I'm not sure this is really the bottom when you see something like that. Looking at all the data I can look at to try to call this logically. So this is reacting a little bit off of NIO's good news. The China EV thing. Taking it all in, guys. Taking it all in. Man, I tend to want to play that floor, but yeah, see? This is what can happen. That's why that's so dangerous. So I think I'd stay short biased at this point. It's scaring me too much, breaking these levels, constantly breaking down rather than up. So it did have a rickshaw man on the 5-minute. Some people might just call it a standard doji. Wow. See, this is going to pull the magnet down. 403 would be some spot I would think it's going to reverse at. I'm going to go ahead and try to get that. So I got 403.2. I just tried to get a quick trade on 50 shares there. Didn't pick me up. There it goes. So just a quick $12. See if it holds this again. Already kind of broke out of that. That's why I called it at 403. That's the 20 moving average sweeping down here. There's the 9. Where's our VWAP? Way up here. We don't really have any fibs. This is the 8 overall ATR right down here, low. So don't confuse that with the low of day, which is right there. This is the ATR low, which is 401. That would mean that it moved its entire range in one direction. It's definitely due to bounce off that. But who knows what moves these. Well, I'm going to catch up with some other sessions today. We made our goal, but just trying to find something else. What happened with MU? Let's see if we can, if that's settled down enough to maybe trade, not so risky, you know. We got 82 on that one so far, based on the openings, which is not really something I recommend, but that's how we got to where we needed to get so far. What are we at right now? 121, so. Look at that. Let's take a look at the 5-minute here. Is it going to be long bias now? It's trying to recover, so it pretty much stopped at that fib. Look at the range here, though. So 96 up to 4. So it's almost $4, full $4 right there on that one candle. You look at that candle, its range says $5.36 in 1 minute. So that's why this can hurt you bad. So yeah, you can make $500 on 100 shares. Or you could lose $500 on 100 shares. So, I'm trying to get a look at this. Particularly on this stock, these looks like it's busy because it's showing you so many $1.50 all at once. So the buyers are constantly climbing up in volume and at the top. No sign yet that this is stopping. It passed the VWAP. Magnet's pulling up. Did you see that? I could see it happening. Saw the volume coming in. Now it jumped back down. It's going to pull it up again, guys. Magnet's going to go up. Or 288. It's going to break 403. So it's like a springboard when this pops up. There it goes. Gonna break that fib, boy. I don't know. I'm worried about just jumping on this. This is a risky trade, guys. Risky stock to trade. Looking at maybe a dip at the 402. Thinking about a dip at the 402. Whew. Oof. If I caught that dip, that would have been painful the wrong way. That's a big candle so far, the opposite direction. I'll go for it. All right, let's see how bad it's going to hurt me. It's going to take away my profit. So if you made your goal, remember, just walk away. Don't be like the professor. Keep your goal. It's going to retrace that $5 candle. These are the risks you take. It's coming back, baby. Buy, sell, oscillator. Don't turn that around. Break that VWAP. Come on. I am definitely doing the sell ask or add to it by buy. But I've considered adding to it down here and going in for a swing on this. Let's get some money here, guys. Let's get a more decent day. We did 488 the day I left. Oh, boy. So now I have to think about adding to my position here. So it stopped at the fib, 400. Kind of wish I would have got in there. I'd already be profitable on this trade. So if it gives me another chance down there, I think I will. At 399, not 400, 399. Let's see. If it's gonna. What is this down here? 398.50 on the Let's see how bad this could get. This could get painful before it goes back the other way. $50. I'm looking for near the 50 cent. I'm going to take that. Pick me up. So now this is just taking big chances, guys. So you don't want to try to copy that unless you can afford to do that. MACD sending it down. So I could be in some pain here of a few $100s before it gives me what I need. But I have confidence this will be a winning trade. On MU, nope, this is my max share size to stay under margin if I hold it into a swing today. So hopefully if you made your goal, you are not doing this. You got down here. So wish I could add to this for my, but I'm trying to stick to the rules for this account. So I'm at $3.99 for basically call it 400 is where I'm at now. So this highly likely will get there in just a split second from now, but let's watch it. Let's watch it happen. Back green again on this stock for the day. Break that MACD level. That's about 39 cent. There, it just broke it. So that'll give people confidence. See, the sellers were sort of dropping here, though. I mean, the volume for them, even though it was at the top. So there wasn't a lot of confidence in it going down. You know, to jump on it short. It's doing its typical swaling thing, you know. Like to make it a higher high up here. Would be nice. Don't turn around now, guys. Come on. What do we got for time, Charlie? Okay. I may set this so I can trade elsewhere on the ladder, which is what I do a lot. You guys watch me, so. And make it a day trade, not more than a swing, you know. But let's see if it's going to recover. It does seem to have slowed down right down here. Didn't quite make a bull flag. No, not on the 5-minute either. Hold that ATR, sort of stopping it again. That's the RV ATR there. For this stock, I'm pretty close to my position with 100 shares, so just a little bit a buck off on a stock that moves $5 in 1 minute. This is it's consolidated a bit right here. It's time for it to make a big jump. Let's see the jump. It was green for the day for a minute there. Now watch some of the other videos and you see this be like 1,000 shares, you know, and then you see some real excitement. I don't want to, after all that, I don't want to jump out too soon, but that's good enough if it gives me that. There we go. So 143 on that one. So for the day on this, we got 181. That's pretty good. So if you had 181, I'm going to do it. Oh, don't tell me. I'm going to finish. I know you just told me I'm going to finish it on my own. Yeah, 3,600 for the month if you did that every day, you know. So there was some risk there. When I'm only making $5 and you see me go down to 150, it's like, what kind of nonsense is that? But I mean, every stock you read differently and what its potential is, you know. There's a sign of a reversal that it's not going to keep going up. That's a rickshaw, man. Anyway, guys, I'm running on down the road to the next session. Thanks for watching, and we'll be adding this into the recaps. But remember, we're only doing the recaps once a week now is what we'll be doing. So thanks for being here today. I hope you guys did okay. We had another good green day. I'll give an update on TraderView tomorrow, how we're doing on the month. I think we're doing pretty good, though. Averaging pretty good. All right, guys. Good luck out there. Be careful and go green.